YouTube. In today's video, I'd like to talk a little bit about my top 3 tools and equipment that have helped me. I'm not talking about welders or speed squares, stuff like that. I'm talking about like actual fabrication equipment that you want to build into when you kind of move from, like I did, a hobbyist to a business owner or someone who's actually producing it to make a living, producing parts to make a living. So without further ado, we'll get into it, and I'll give you my top 3 pieces of equipment and probably a little bonus after that. So let's get into it. All right, so this guy right here would be my #1 pick as far as something that you need past a welder, past your basic tools, past a basic table to fabricate on. You guys need one of these saws. This is a cold saw. This one here is a Scotchman CPO 350. Has a self-centering vise. These saws are awesome for miters. They're awesome for straight cuts. Awesome for cut quality. Here's a remnant right here that's hasn't had a grinder on it, anything like that, and this is actually a pretty dull blade, so it's leaving a little bit of that, but it's very clean cut, very quick cut. These saws only, they typically only turn like 30 to 50 RPM, so it's a really slow turning saw. Runs coolant, but very good upgrade. When I first started, I was running a bandsaw, and nothing wrong with the bandsaw. They have their place. This saw, as far as all the cutting that we do for railing fabrication, for ornamental stuff, for anything really 4 inches square tube wise and down, this thing just kicks ass. Very, very accurate cuts, very accurate miters. When I first got this saw, we were doing a ton of security doors, and going from cutting all my parts on a bandsaw, I could do by myself at that point about 1 security door a day. When I got this, just with the addition of this saw, still myself, I was able to do, instead of 1 door a day, I could about do 2 doors in a day. So it almost doubled what I could do in certain scenarios, and the accuracy and just the time not having to spend cleaning up welds, accuracy of the miters made it so much faster. So this is my first recommendation for any of you guys that are looking to go from like a hobbyist or just entry-level fabrication company, and you're looking for a piece of equipment that's really going to help you. This is my #1 pick right here. I love this thing. My only regret is I wish I would have bought it sooner. Okay, my #2 pick be this guy right here. Get yourself some sort of I call it a jig table. Some sort of a jig table. This one, and this is a 4x8 that I built, and we have a 5x10 right over here. So these tables are huge. When you're able to clamp anywhere on a surface, it just helps so tremendously over a basic flat table or a weld out table. I was cheap at the time when we built this and just didn't have the money, so that's why I built my own. We take basically either bolts from used, 5/8 bolts, or just 5/8 round bar. And we'll take Harbor Freight clamps. We'll take, these are Bessie clamps from Home Depot. These are Jorgensen from Home Depot. They work a heck of a lot better than the Harbor Freight clamps, but we'll cut the tops off, and then as you can see, just weld a bolt on there, and works freaking awesome for us. So these aren't obviously like a Certiflat table, but they are very, very flat. I cut all this on my plasma table, did everything myself. A 5x10 table takes 2 5x10 quarter plate sheets, at least that's how I built it, because it is gridded underneath still. Same thing with my 4x8, takes 2 4x8 sheets. So lots of options with these tables, guys. Same thing, just, security doors when I was starting, being able to clamp that door anywhere awesome feature. So this is something that really helped save time, helped us really produce, I would say, more quality work faster. And that's why it's number 2 on my list. It's also something that you can do yourself depending on, you know, what you've got in your shop. And they don't have to, you know, a table like this is going to cost you $5 grand without the legs if you buy it. You know, I built it for the cost of 2 4x8 quarter plate sheets. So at the time I built this, it was a lot cheaper than now. So, you know, I think I had maybe $300 to $400 total in the whole table build, obviously not including my time. So, but this is something I highly recommend. You can do those jig fixtures and stuff by the Harbor Freight clamps. There's tons of videos on that. We take it one step further and buy a little bit higher quality clamp. The Harbor Freight clamps work. They just burn out. You know, we end up tossing those long before like a Home Depot clamp or a Lowe's clamp. So my number 3 pick for a newer or upcoming fab shop would be a plasma table. Okay, it doesn't have to be 5x10. I started with a 4x4 plasma cam. This right here is a 5x10 Star Lab. Love this feature right here about the Star Lab. And there's tons of companies that are made in the USA, but super sweet table. We literally use this for everything. There's hardly a day that this isn't running, cutting something. And it's not that I'm cutting stuff, you know, 40 hours a week, but doing stuff like this over here for our railing and our ornamental stuff. We've got all of our feet, all of our tabs, everything. You know, if we do a flat cap rail, those are typically the centers to these feet here. Tons of stuff. All of our pipe feet for like pipe railing for the city all comes off this out of like quarter plate. Okay, I run Hypertherm on it. That's just what I like. But if you're looking at upgrading a shop, doing something to where you're a little more self-sustained and just able to take on more projects, this is definitely my number 3 recommendation. Obviously costs a little bit of money, but if you use it how we use it, it'll pay for itself so fast. You know, at the time that I got this, I think it paid for itself probably within the year. I mean, honestly, it's just stupid how many things you can use this for. I cut a ton of jigs. Like a lot of our railing jigs come off of this table. Cut tools a lot of times to help us with custom things. If you've got like for stair stringers, you need to cut like a triangle for your rise and run, cut it out on this guy and everything's accurate. So we've since moved on for stuff like that to other machines that are a little bit better, but this thing is super accurate. Production wise, you can pretty much set it and forget it, you know, unless you have tip up stuff like that. Like you can't just leave for the whole day and expect that it's gonna continue working. But I mean, it's almost an extra set of hands for you, and the part accuracy is awesome. You know, you can do stuff, used to do a lot more artwork and stuff like that. I don't personally like doing artwork, so we don't do a ton of it, but you can do it, you know, security doors, stuff like that. When I started, all my artwork got cut out like this. Elk, you know, bears, deer, that's all huge where I'm at. Having those scenics and, you know, pine trees and stuff in your security door, this is the machine to do that. So huge money potential with these machines if you understand how to use them. That's what I see is a lot of guys that own these, they don't know how to design themselves. So they're constantly asking somebody else how to draw, or, hey, can you draw this for me? Or they're relying on what's already pre-drawn for them. So if you're gonna get a plasma table, learn how to use it, learn how to draw with it. It takes time, but very, very good investment for you. Once again, don't have to start with this big of a table or this expensive of a table. They have, like, Langmuir Systems has a table that I want to say is less than $5 grand for you to start with. Like, that thing for railing tabs and probably, you know, half of what we use ours for would be an amazing upgrade for your shop. So that's my number 3 pick. So we've got the cold saw, the jig tables, and the plasma table. Those are my 3 picks for you guys. And I think those 3 pieces of equipment, if I had to get rid of everything else, that's what I would want to keep. Okay, my bonus pick for you guys is this guy right here. This is a Saw Gear Touch by Tiger Stop. Looks like it's not on, so I'll fire it up for you guys. So what this did, originally I had just a manual, it's like a little clamp stop. You'd squeeze it and you could slide it on the runner. It had a tape measure all the way down. Worked awesome, okay? Especially if you're the guy doing most of the cutting. When I started getting more and more employees, you know, you end up just inherently getting more mistakes, and you know, there's more that can go wrong. So I invested recently in this guy here, Saw Gear Touch. So this is an automated stop, okay? Runs, I mean, it runs, I think, a little bit over 12 feet, 157 inches, I believe, is what it'll run. So every time you fire it up, you just home it. And it's gonna home. This machine, it saved our scrap. You know, our scrap pile is so much smaller due to this machine. We get a lot more accurate cuts. We have a lot less human error, even from myself included, making miscuts or reading the tape measure wrong. You know, it happens. You do it enough times a day, you're gonna mess up. So the cool thing about this machine here is I can come in, I just homed it. If I want a 24-inch piece, type 24, hit go. My stop runs all the way up here to, and that's exactly 24 inches from this side of my saw blade, okay? It has miter compensation in it. We actually just have a cheat sheet for what we use, but has miter compensation. The other awesome feature about this is when you have a cut list, you can upload it from, you basically just write it down in an Excel sheet, save it, so you can look at, this is the next railing job we have to cut out, okay? It's got all of my parts listed in it, and when I go to actually cut this, so I'm gonna hit go, it's asking my stock length. So if you have anything scrap-wise, you can throw it on here, measure it out real quick, type in that measurement, it's going to cut the most effective or most efficient order. So it's basically always optimizing your cut. So if you got a full stick, we use 24-foot sticks, so 288 go, and it's going to, so I'll just do that for you, 288 go. So it's gonna move to 26, I cut that one, I hit go. Moves again, 33 and 5/8, cut it, go. As you can notice, it's automatically keeping track of how many parts I have left that are needing cut. It's automatically moving. When I get to the end where I've cut that whole stick, I hit go, it asks for the next stock length. So it's constantly trying to give me the most effective order to make my cuts in. Super awesome upgrade. These things, you know, at the time I got it, it cost about $5-6 grand. Well worth the investment. Our scrap buckets, the length of material in our scrap buckets have gone from, you know, 2 to 3 feet sometimes to, I mean, we're getting scraps an inch and under most of the time. So obviously as you get towards the end of your list, you run out of the options, so you do get longer and longer scraps. But once again, leave them on your shelf, and then the next time you're cutting that material, throw it on there, tell it, hey, I've got this length. And I mean, it's saved just in, I think we've had this for 4 or 5 months now. It's saved so much of our material, especially with material costs nowadays. Super helpful. Definitely something I would recommend. Once again, that's a Saw Gear Touch. And that's gonna be my bonus piece of equipment for you guys. So from there, I will work on doing a shop tour at some point, doing some videos. We've got, as you guys can see in the background there, new machines, Bentech Dragon. That thing has been awesome. We're still in the learning stages. I mean, we've got it pretty well figured, but still learning of what its capabilities are and how it can help us. So I'll give you guys a shop rundown. Gonna try and start doing some more videos on how we fabricate stuff. the process of how we do our railings, a lot of that type of stuff, even to help out our customers kind of understand what goes into building their custom railing and their custom projects. So, but I hope that helps one of you guys. Those 3 pieces of equipment, 4 pieces of equipment, I mean, every single piece of equipment in my shop, I don't regret. They have a purpose, but if I were to just pick the top 3 or 4 pieces, those are what I just went over. That's what I would pick. That's what I would stay with. They've been just tremendous in helping me grow from being a fabricator that worked a different job to fund my business, and growing from that to now we have, as far as fabrication employees, we have myself and 4 other guys that are in the shop fabricating almost every day. So huge difference. Great pieces of machinery. I do like Scotchman. I do like Starlab. Anything really that has an American-made sticker on it just seems to work better. So I hope this helps some of you guys, and have a great day.